Hi guys, welcome back to your YouTube channel, and it's your girl Michelle. Opa is plenty, guys, always freaking plenty. So guys, this is one of the series that y'all always ask stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I should actually just do this video. So guys, on today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys 10 things that you need to know before you intend. Before you even get a form, before you even think of actually going on a journey of studying law. Before you even envisage it in your mind that, okay, I want to be a lawyer, I want to study law, I want to pick up the form, I want to write jam, I want to put law and all of those good stuff. These are the 10 things you need to know. If I was told these 10 things, I don't think I'll actually have issues in my first year. So yeah, this is a very helpful video. Don't forget, if you're new to my channel, you don't know I exist before, but it's cool when you saw me. Today I did that, I hit your turn on post notifications and join the family. Again, I won't actually just keep quiet. I tell you guys a big thank you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. Your girl is really thankful and appreciative. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Yeah.
Ton corps est aussi beau que l'or.
So yeah guys, I'm actually not going to quote my words. I'm actually going to spell it out the way it is. I'm going to be telling you guys what it is and not what you want to hear, because there are a couple of videos on YouTube that they will telling you guys what you want to hear. Like, okay, fine, you run and go and take the form. Oh yes, I want to study law, but please sit down, take your pen and paper. I'm about to spill out the truth and the things you should know. And when you have heard these stuff and you feel like, okay, as one that your mind can carry it, then it's for everyone. There was a point in which I was like, in my first year, I was like, oh my god, why did I even decide to study law? Because it's like what I heard before I took the form, wrote jam and all those stuff was not actually what it is when I got to the university. So yeah guys, like I said, you guys are not going to be like quoting our words. It might sound somehow. Note, I'm not here to scare you. It's about your passion. If you have a passion for law, justice and all those good stuff, then you can as well take the form after hearing all this and be passionate, be intentional. Okay, so don't feel discouraged, don't feel scared, don't feel like I'm trying to kill your dream. I'm trying to tell you what you should know and how you should prepare your mind before you decide to take this journey. Now, one of the first things you should know before you decide to study law, before you make up your mind that, oh yes, I want to be a lawyer, you should realize and know that studying law is a different ball game that comes with being independent. Law as a course is an independent course. So there's not how you want to study law and you personally, you are not independent. Independent in the sense that you can stand on your own to make decisions. No, I'm not trying to say maybe you rebel or something. No, that because some people say, okay, at this age you can make decisions, so you better. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Decisions in the sense that you are able to think, right? You're able to think independently. You're able to make decisions independently. That is, okay, for example, now you're coming from secondary school. Yeah, you're coming from high school to uni and then you want to study law. Obviously, the whole, literally for me, the whole way it is in high school is totally different from the way it is in university, especially when you're coming to study law. Because in high school, you notice that, okay, if you want to read, you're calling your friends, oh, have you read this? You guys are entry hall, they're not really strict, so you're able to even ask yourself questions in exam hall. But my brother and my sister, it's totally different. Irrespective of the university you're going to, I'm a student of the University of Nigeria, Unsuka. So irrespective of the university you're going to, Unilag, UI, OAU, Unilori, and all these good universities, you have to prepare your mind to be independent, because in school, in university, as an undergraduate studying law, first thing that you will get to understand is the fact that lecturers are not looking out for you. In our secondary school, if you don't come to class, your class teacher can actually call your parents. Oh, why didn't you come? And all those stuff. If you're in class, you're not listening though. It's totally different. This is even applicable to other courses, not just law. So you're coming to university, you should be ready to be independent. Also, you should be ready to read, how will I say it now? I'm trying to make sure this independence covers every area as a law student. So you're coming to school, you're going to be independent in your thinking, you're going to be independent in your mode of reading. You know, I mentioned like in secondary school in exam where you're able to ask questions, not like I see you're doing malpractice, yeah, because then maybe you and someone had read together, and then maybe your class teacher knows you guys or something like that, so you're able to like, Tola, have you read this, all this kind of stuff, and you guys are able to like communicate in the exam hall. But my brother and my sister, even though it's your twin sister or your twin brother or your family member that is in the hall with you, it is not allowed. So you have to build this independence, this mind of independence, that as you're coming to study law, because like I said, law is actually a very independent course. You can't be studying law and then you are being dependent on some other courses or something like that. It's law as a course is independent. So you that you intend studying, you have to be mentally, physically, socially independent. Mentally, in the sense you're able to make decisions on your own, you're able to think independently. Physically, that is, you are able to prepare yourself to be able to like concentrate independently, because if you're coming to school and like, okay, you can't just like waiting for lecturer story. This my brother in university, such kind of things does not even happen. Now, socially, your friends, right? Your friends, like I mentioned in secondary school, coming from school to university now, you have friends that you can easily ask questions in the exam hall. How did you go about that? But it's not allowed there. Also, there might be room for discussions there, but then you just have to know that in this field, I am alone. Don't see it as being competitive here, but in this field, I'm alone. So I feel like if I had known this before I started to study law, I think my first year would have been better off than the way it was, because I came to school with the whole secondary school mindset, and when I came to school, I was just looking for persons that we could just go around, read together. But it was not really like that, because when you come to school, you realize that as a law student, everybody is pursuing a goal, and if you're not independent, you might end up following people, and at the end of the day, you realize that you might feel like people were actually fake friends, but that's not actually how it is. Because like I mentioned, look, law is an independent course, so if you're coming to study law, you should learn to be independent, right? As a YouTuber, before I set up my camera to start filming, I actually went to watch a couple of videos to see what, like, videos relating to this topic, and I'm like, people are not really talking about this one I'm about to talk about, but it's the facts. Because I see no reason why I would go and study law and I will go through a whole lot of stress from university to law school and all this stuff, and then I don't pick the best out of these universities. So one thing you should know, and nobody's going to tell you, but I am telling you now because I wasn't told, but I don't know, God just helped me. I was able to like pick the best. One thing you should know is that if you're going to study law and you're picking the form, pick the university that is renowned in the legal field. That's a university whereby the faculty of law in that university is very, very good, and they have different accolades to their name, right? So like I said earlier, I happen to be a student of the University of Nigeria. My faculty happens to be the first faculty in West Africa, first faculty in Nigeria. So, I mean, the other Unilag, UI, OAU, Unilorin, these are other good universities that I can pick. I mean, I can't imagine me going to study law and I'm going to a university that is not really known, though they offer law. I mean, I'll find it like, so I'll go to that straight, and then nobody's going to tell you this truth. But the fact is that when you graduate, aside your grade, they will also look at other external factors that will enable you to get an edge among your peers. Among these factors are the university you graduated from. So you should, if you know you want to study law, my brother and my sister, pick the best out of the best, right? Pick the university that you know that if you are going through this stress of reading, being independent, when you're coming out, you have something to show for it, because the university you went to alone is already a platform and a leverage among your peers. Now, this is actually like a prerequisite. I mean, it's something you have to know, and it's either you know it or you don't know it. Right? So this is about when you get to school. I mean, it's like a cliche. The friends you move with to determine who you are. So before you decide to study law, you should know that when you're getting to school, you're moving with the good kids. I love to call them good kids because they are good. So what I mean by good kids is, for example, now you're an average student, you're going to school. You should obviously move with people that are better than you. Don't be the one to show that, oh my God, oh my God. Move with the people that are better, because in law, like I said, I mentioned independence earlier on, but then you can't actually do without all these people. But then you can't actually do that, like I said earlier, you can't actually do without these people. So the best thing you can do for yourself is, if you even though you happen to be the best among the best, or you're the scholar in their midst, that does not mean you should not stay on your own, because law as a course, you can't do without having your classmates. not in the hall. This is what I was talking about, independence. Not in the hall. So when you're reading with your classmates here, still be independent, because in the hall you can't talk. I mean, as a lawyer, why will you be involved in examination malpractice? It just shows that you're not fit and proper for the profession, and as such you might not even be allowed to go to law school. So then you have to build that independence, as I was mentioned earlier, and also make sure you move with the best, so they can always help you and pull you up. Because the truth is that even though you're ready to study law, there will obviously be a point where you'll be like, oh my god, I don't want to do this anymore, because everybody has passed through that phase. Even though I passed it in my first year, I feel like I'm still going to pass it in my subsequent years. So it's something that you should like prepare your mind to want to study law. Look out for the best persons to move with them and learn from them. And if you're the best, look out for persons that are willing to learn. They will also help you in the long run. Don't be an island. So on to the fourth thing. The fourth thing that you should know before you decide to study law is the fact that law books are expensive. I mean, nobody's actually going to tell you this, but this is the truth. Law books are expensive. I mean, in my current year, among the books I'll be getting, there's a book about 30-something thousand, and all those, like a book 30-something thousand, and it's just a book for a course. And that book happens to be a lecturer's only book. And then there's some other ones I will still get some material, some handouts, and all those good stuff. But it would be nice for you to know and prepare your mind that before you want to study law, law as a course is expensive, irrespective of the amount you pay as like the school fees and all those stuff. You're going to a private or a public university. You should just know that the books are expensive, and as such, if you're ready to take the form, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a lawyer, you should be ready, like prepare your mind mentally and prepare yourself financially that you're going to be spending a hell of a lot for books. Because if you don't do that, right, I didn't do that because I told you guys all what I mentioned is the things I did not know before I got to the school. At a point, if you're the one that asks your parents for money, for books and all this stuff, it feel like, because most times, for example, if you happen to be the first law student in your family and you're always asking them, they won't really, especially when you didn't tell them before you entered, they will be like, they won't believe you again, right? But if you're able to like sit them down, mommy, daddy, this course I'm going to study, the books are like, they'll just know beforehand. And so when you're in school, they're able to like, okay, when you tell them, they don't feel like, oh, you're trying to extort money from them and all those stuff. So one thing you should know, like I said, before you decide to take the form to study law, is that law books are expensive. In fact, law as a course is expensive till the day you're called to the Nigerian bar or to the bar of the country you are. You're going to be spending money, and get ready to spend the money before you decide to study law. Okay, before I move on to the next one, still under the topic of the books are expensive. So one thing you should also notice that, for example, now my school, majority of our books happens to be a book written by a lecturer. So in most instances, these law books that are expensive are hard to come by in the market, because these are books that are written by the lecturer of your university. So you happen to only get it in your school's bookshop. So even though you go to the market, go to a bookshop in the market or a store or something, you're not able to get that exact book, because you might see a lot of contract of maybe some foreign writers, but you might not actually see the one recommended for you guys. So in most instances, it's better for you to stick to the recommended book. So if a lecturer has a book on law of contracts, law of torts, get your lecturer, because it's also going to help you. Maybe when they're setting their questions is going to come out from their book. So you should be able to stick to the recommended books and don't go and waste your money outside, and then when you get to the hall, you're not seeing a book that's a question that comes out from the book you bought. Now, there's this notion of, as a child, if you can argue, you're going to be a lawyer. As a child, if you can talk, you're going to be a lawyer. As a child, if you are bold, you're going to be a lawyer. As a child, if you are confident, you're going to be a lawyer. Well, it might also help you out if naturally you know how to argue, you're good at arguments, you are bold, you're outspoken, you are you are able to make sense while talking. It's going to help you in the legal field. But then one thing you should know from the day one that you decide to study law is that you have to be a critical thinker. You must be able to think legally, right? So if you're not a critical thinker from now, start working towards being a critical thinker. Because as a lawyer, you shouldn't just be thinking on what it is. You're supposed to think about around it, right? So example, now you're in court and then you have a case before you, and then prima facie, on the surface level, you can see that this case is, you're not going to win it. But then how do you find a way around it to win. You have to critically think, how does the law work? What law can I use to this? So do you get, as a law student, to working to become a lawyer, you have to build your mind to be able to critically think. I mean, if I knew this, like I said, I wouldn't have had problems. I mean, in my first semester, I was an alien in the faculty because I was still the government headed person. So even when I was attempting past courses, I was attempting from a point of a government student. But then along the line, when I realized that, I actually have to think critically in the law faculty, and then so it's something you should know before you decide to study law. If you're someone that doesn't know how to think on a spot, you should start working on it. And if you know that naturally you can't, then I don't think law is for you, because as a law student or a lawyer, you should know how to think critically. Like I said, I was going to tell you guys what it is and know what you want to hear. So one thing you should know is that law is actually extremely exhaustive and tiring and grueling and difficult. So a lot of people tell you that if you read, you pass. Yes, if you read, you pass. But law comes, aside reading and passing, it comes to a whole lot of other things. Example, you literally don't, like I mentioned earlier, you literally don't have time to do other things. But then comes the balance. If you're able to balance your life as a law student, it makes you a successful law student. I mean, you're able to balance your social life, your spiritual life, your academic life. It just shows that you're an all-round student, right? So for example, now there's actually no rest in law. Okay, maybe I say, okay, holidays, you're able to go out with your friends. But then during holidays, that's when you start running for internships. You want to apply to this firm, you want to apply to that firm, you want to apply to Bawa and Godalo, Udodoma, Aluka, Oyebode, all these good top tier law firms. And then still in the same vein, you're trying to cover up course outlines because, like I said, it's during your holiday, and then when you resume, you want to make sure you're ahead of the class. So when lecturers are teaching, you are able to follow up. So this is something you should know before you start to study law. This is how it is. There's actually no actual rest, except you're able to balance your life. Now, even at your holiday, you're still burdened by so many things around the field of law. Example, like I mentioned, you have internships, you have wanted to cover the course outline, wanted to be ahead of the class, so you're still reading during your holidays. And when school resumes, that's where the begins. You attend classes, you read, night class, and all this stuff. So these are things you should prepare your mind for before you decide to study law. Still under the one that was said before, you should always learn that when you're reading, you shouldn't just read to pass. You should also read to understand. I mean, if I knew this stuff, I don't think I would have actually had issues, because most times when you enter the hall for exams, you notice that the questions they said are not actually for you to just cram and pour. They're actually questions that they expect to put your application, what you understand. So it's not this time whereby you just crammed and you intended to pour, and then get to the hall and you think that they're asking to advise the parties in your own idea, tell the court what it's supposed to do, and they happen to have just crammed. I mean, how do you find your way around it? So you should always make sure that you read and understand. And most times you also have to cram cases. Ain't gonna lie to ourselves. You have to cram cases, sections, and all those good stuffs. So you should learn how to do these things together. You understand the topic before you start cramming. So I've had a couple of discussions with persons, like new first years coming to my school, and also like normal persons, and they're like, okay, it's important to note that you should work with what works for you. But then the truth is that in law as a course, or in the faculty of law in any university, for you to be able to ace it, for you to be able to make an easy A, you have to start reading from day one. Like I said, there's no actual end to reading. And in the same light as, you can't just, in law, I don't think reading a week to exam, or 2 weeks to exam, or 3 weeks, or a month to exam like you did in secondary school works. The truth is that from the first day you enter into the class, like lecturers start taking you guys, that's the first day you should start reading for you to be able to get an easy A. Even though, okay, you might hide under the umbrella of like, okay, it doesn't really work for me. I like pressure. I love when it's exam period, so I read that. It might work for you, yeah, but in order for you to get an easy A, like I said, you don't really feel for your mental health to still be normal. My brother and my sister start reading from day one. I mean, if I knew this, like, before I went to school, I mean, there was one strike and all those stuff. So if I knew this before I went to school, I would have covered the whole course outline before I went to school. So you guys are so lucky to be hearing this now, and as such, you should take it with utmost importance. Okay, so there's this notion of university, you don't get to attend classes because obviously, like I mentioned earlier, there's no lecturer telling you to go to classes. or most times you don't really have to make notes in class. You just have a textbook to read, and there's some kind of courses whereby like GS, you're like, okay, you don't attend it. But now this video is mainly for our legal courses, your departmental courses. So for example, now you are in first year, you're doing legal method, and you're in school, right? So in that kind of class, the best thing you can ever do for yourself, which you should know now before you decide to study law, is you should always attend classes, because lecturers in universities, not just my university, like I've kind of like made inquiries about other universities, and I got to understand that lecturers in classes actually like state what they want to see in their exam. So if you happen not to attend classes, how do you want to know what they want to see in their exam? When you enter exam, you'll be like, you might be like, where did this come from? Even though you have covered the whole textbook and all those stuff. So number one, make sure you attend classes. Now when you're in classes, make notes. What makes an A student? You make your notes, right? So you're reading a textbook, you try to put it in your words. You're in class, lecturer is teaching, you're understanding, and you're putting it in your words, right? And you also make sure that you interact in class. Don't just be the nobody notices you in class, because law is actually a very interactive course. So if you're in class studying law, you should learn how to be interactive, okay? And it might also help you. Lecturers might get to know you, and then it gives you a leverage among your peers. Guys, the penultimate one, that is, you see, law as a course is broad. I mean, law covers all facets of life. There are different fields under law. There are different areas of law and aspects and facets and phases of law. Example, we have family law, we have business law, we have commercial law, we have corporate law, we have labor law, we have industrial law, we have contract law, we have tort law, we have maritime law, admiralty, and all this good stuff, energy law, intellectual property law, elder law, health law, space law, and all these other fields. So now you're like, oh my god, where am I going to? Oh my god, I want to study law, but I don't really know the kind of lawyer I want to be. The very first day you decide to take your form, and the very first day you pass, and the very first day you get admission to study law, that's the day you should start. I mean, as you're going to classes, you're listening to your lecturer lecture you should start building an interest in a field, because that is what's going to push you. I mean, I get so shocked and astounded when I get law students law students mention that, oh my god, I don't even know where I want to specialize. And this person I'm talking about, okay, maybe in his fourth year, and it's like, oh my god, I don't even know where I want to specialize in. I don't even know the field that I have interest in. I'm just doing this law, I'm just doing everything. And I'm like, how? So from first year, from first years, you should start building your interest. I mean, in first year, I was able to build my interest, and I know where I want to specialize in law now, and I'm working towards it. So as a law student, or as an aspirant of the legal profession, you should prepare your mind that, okay, as I'm coming to law in my first year, I am going to make sure I specialize, I have an interest in this field of law. So it's a little bit to be more intentional and be more specific about what you're actually doing in the field of law. So guys, the last thing you should know before you decide to study law is internships. So you might not actually have heard of this word before. Maybe you're just coming across it in this video. So what is an internship? An internship in the legal profession in law is the opportunity you get to go to these big law firms, or just a law firm in quote. You get to learn the practical aspect of law. So in class, they're teaching you law is this, law is that, contract is this, contract is that, tort is this, tort is that, labor is this, industrial is this, and all those good stuff, marriage, divorce, and all this good stuff. But then when you intern at the firm, you get, if for example now you get to attend court sessions, court proceedings, then you see how the stuffs that have been teaching you are being applied to our day-to-day life. So internship is one of those things that you should not play with. I mean, it's very, very important. I mean, if I had heard, if not for the ASO strike, which I got to intern, I think maybe it's in my final year I would have gone to intern, whereby there are people in this faculty of law that are doing these stuffs like every year. I mean, there are 5 years in the law faculty, they have interned like 10 places, right? So internship is very, very important, and you should never underestimate it. Aside the knowledge you stand to gain, you're also going to network. You're going to meet people in the legal profession, people that will help you in the long run. You're able to make connections, and then if you have a good career, you might actually get a return there, and then when you graduate, you already have a job waiting for you. So do not ever play with internships. Also, when you happen to have interned in so many places, and then you have graduated, I mean, it's going to be on your CV, so that already gives you a leverage among your peers where you guys are like going to apply for a job. So do not ever play with internships. As you're coming to study law, you should have it to your mind that okay, I'm going to intern at this point in my study, I'm going to go and intern, I'm going to apply to this firm, I'm going to, and all this good stuff. So these are stuff you should prepare your mind for. And then I wish you success as you pick the firm and you realize that law is actually not beans, and as such it's something you should prepare your mind first before you study. And don't let this video scare you. Law is a very good course that you can study whilst knowing that it is not easy. So you should prepare your mind that, okay, I want to study law, I should be ready to do this, I should be ready to do that. So guys, I've come to the end of this video. If you have any question as regards maybe some other questions you may have as regards you're picking your form and all those things, drop in the comment section. I'll be there to attend to your questions. If you also have another question as regards the field of law, you don't know this, you don't know that, I'm also at the comment section to reply your questions. And I'm so glad that you got to this point of this video, and I really want to see you doing very well. That is why I put out this video. So don't be scared. Law is a very good course. I am so proud to be studying law. You should also study law whilst knowing all the things that comes with studying law. And I hope this video was really helpful, and at this point your mind has been opened that, okay, I want to take this journey and I'm ready to go through this whole stuff. Yeah, so don't forget, if you're new to my channel, you know that it's for West Connect when you saw me, do the like, that, hit your turn on post notifications and join the family. I mean, this is educative videos and all those good stuff are all on this table. So all right, see you guys in my next video. See ya, catch ya later.